Moonrise Kingdom is a real delight. It's a genuine coming-of-age comedy drama that shows Wes Anderson at his most heartfelt and grounded. Anderson's always been a bit of a hit-and-miss director for me personally. He has a very specific, instantly recognizable aesthetic and tone, symmetrical frames, pastel palettes and deadpan performances. That works beautifully in some films and less so in others. But with Moonrise Kingdom, I felt everything aligned. This one really hits, and it hits in a much more warm, down-to-earth way than some of his more elaborate, stylized projects. I loved a lot of Anderson's films over the years, The Royal Tenenbaums, Darjeeling Limited, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and of course in recent years The French Dispatch really impressed me. But I'll be honest, Asteroid City didn't fully land for me. Still, whether he hits or misses, you can never deny that Anderson's voice is absolutely his own. No one makes movies like him, and no one ever will. And part of that uniqueness is how the actors flock to him. Established actors, newcomers, Oscar winners, quirky character actors, everyone wants their Wes Anderson moment. Moonrise Kingdom was released, of course, in 2012, co-written by Anderson and regular collaborator Roman Coppola, and shot largely on Prudence Islands and other areas of Rhode Island. This was Anderson's first film set firmly in the world of childhood and adolescence, but told with the same stylistic precision he's known for. Interestingly, it came right before the Grand Budapest Hotel, so in a sense it marks the beginning of his 2010s creative peak. The overall tone was intentionally crafted to feel like a nostalgic children's adventure novel, mixed with 1960s scouting handbook, complete with maps, diagrams, handmade props, and a very intentionally curated soundtrack. Anderson even said many elements of the story were inspired by his own childhood in Texas, feeling like an outsider, young love, and the sense of adventure you only get once in your life. And of course, Anderson brings along many of his regular collaborators. You've got Bill Murray as the emotionally checked-out father, Jason Schwartzman in a short but brilliantly chaotic cameo, and the ever-wonderful Tilda Swinton as the social services officer, just called social services, which is perfect Anderson humour. Then you have the additions, Frances McDormand as the mother who communicates through a megaphone, Edward Norton as Scoutmaster Randy Ward, and Harvey Keitel making a late appearance that adds that sense of gravitas that only he can bring. But then of course you also have Bruce Willis in a surprisingly tender role as Captain Duffy Sharp, arguably one of his most human and restrained performances. Watching it now, knowing everything that has happened to Willis and his health, it hits differently. It's quietly emotional, and he plays the moral compass of the story, and you can feel the sincerity in every scene he's in. But the absolute standouts have to be the two young actors, Jared Gilman as Sam Shanosky and Cara Hayward as Susie Bishop. These two were practically unknown at the time, and Anderson cast them after massive auditions. Their chemistry is what makes the film work. In the sweet, awkward, determined young love between these two misfits, Sam an orphan and a khaki scout with endless survival skills, and Susie an odd girl who doesn't quite fit in with her family, armed with books, a record player, and a fierce internal world. The relationship really is the beating heart of the movie, and it's really what makes it work. At its core, Moonrise Kingdom is about two lonely kids who find in each other something they can't find anywhere else: understanding. Sam feels unwanted everywhere he goes. Susie feels misunderstood by everyone around her. When they decide to run away together on this little island off the coast of New England, the entire adult world descends into chaos trying to find them, and Anderson plays that duality beautifully, the adult panic mixed with the childlike innocence of adventure. There's a real earnestness to the story, and that's why I think it stands out among Anderson's works. It feels personal, genuine, like he's remembering what it felt like to be young, to feel things intensely, to see the world as this vast place, just wanting to be discovered. Now, there are a couple of scenes that today probably wouldn't play out quite the same. The beach scene with the two kids dance in their underwear is one that sparked conversation over the years. Some people felt it wouldn't get past the studio anymore. But Anderson handles it with innocence rather than exploitation. It's awkward childhood curiosity, not something inappropriate, but in today's climate it would be scrutinized differently. And yes, of course, the dog. The dog gets killed by a stray arrow, and this sparked accusation that Wes Anderson hates dogs. This comes a lot because he has dogs die in a couple of his films. Personally, I think it's just storytelling, and it's not glorified or lingered on, but it did become one of those internet myths attached to Anderson. Now, this is one of Anderson's most gorgeous films. You have the warm yellow and brown palette of the 1960s, meticulous symmetrical compositions, beautifully crafted sets and handmade props, stop-motion inserts, and a coastline and forest setting that feels like a storybook come to life. It's colourful, playful, and textured in a way that only Anderson can do. The soundtrack here is phenomenal. Alexandre Desplat collaborates with Anderson again, but the major highlight is the use of Benjamin Britten's classical pieces, particularly The Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. We even get a bit of Camille Saint-Saëns and of course Mozart. The music functions like the narrator of the film. Even Britain's children's choir music is used intentionally. Another a nod to childhood structure, innocence, discipline, and rebellion. Now here's a few fascinating bits of trivia. Gilman and Hayward had never acted before on camera, but Anderson spent months rehearsing with them personally. The khaki scout scenes were shot with real scout instructors on set to advise the boys. Susie's suitcase is filled with storybooks. Anderson didn't want to use existing books, so he commissioned original fake books and had full covers illustrated. The production team built many of the sets from scratch, including Susie's lighthouse home interior. The film opened the Cannes Film Festival in 2012, a huge honor, and received a standing ovation. It was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay at that year's Academy Awards. In the end, Moonrise Kingdom is a warm, quirky, melancholic little gem. A story of young love, emotional loneliness, and the absurdity of adulthood, wrapped in Anderson's trademark color, humor, and meticulous craft. I expected to like it, but I ended up loving it far more than I anticipated. It feels nostalgic, personal, and quietly profound, and with performances from Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, and the two brilliant young leads, it becomes one of Wes Anderson's most emotionally sincere films. Moonrise Kingdom gets a 9 out of 10. So what did you think of Moonrise Kingdom? Please let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.